Hey folks, how are we doing? Um, Hope everybody's doing okay. I can see we've got Simon in the chat. Hi Simon. Nancy from Paperman Tarot's here. Hi Nancy. Says hello Chris, just going to listen in while getting some work done. Hope you're well. I am well, Nancy. I'm absolutely freezing, but I'm well. It is very cold here today. It is. We've got snow up in Scotland. I know in the UK we've had snow the past couple of days. I was talking to someone from kind of a down south of England um, yesterday, and they were telling me that they had snow. Um, and yeah, we've definitely got it today. The temperature has been in the minus. I think it was this morning. It was something like whatever it was, -3 feels like -6 or thereabouts. Not nice at all. On a Thursday, I work downstairs because Thursday is when my husband works in the office. He goes into the office, and it's just easier to have the dog downstairs because she's got more space to roam about, and I can kind of see her wherever she is when she's downstairs. Whereas when we're upstairs, um, I'm constantly like looking over my screens and like there's bits of the room that I can't see from here. So yeah, I just prefer being downstairs when I've got her on my own. But the downside is like my so this is kind of like a flat. It's like a duplex flat, um, which is like a two-floored flat, and that we are on the ground and the first floor. So downstairs is like basically like ground floor. Which if anyone's ever lived in a ground floor flat, they are freezing. Um, so I've been absolutely Baltic all day. I've been wearing that like a t-shirt plus a jumper. I had my hoodie on over this, and my hands were still like blocks of ice. But I've got I'm upstairs now, obviously, but I've got the heater on underneath me now, and feeling a wee bit warmer now. But I mean, still the snow is really coming down now. It is torrential. Um, So, yeah, I bet you weren't expecting that big long answer, Nancy. Long answer, Nancy. Uh, so that's how I'm doing. But otherwise, other than being cold, I'm doing pretty good. Red Wing, hi Red Wing, how you doing? My lovely Deanne's here. Hi Deanne. Uh, oh, Regina's here. Regina Tarot and Wirecraft. Hello everyone. Work lurking as usual. Making it chain this week. Very nice. I hope you're getting on okay with work, Regina. Joe is here. Hi, Joe. How are you? We've got Marita. Hi, Marita. Hi, Debbie from Aquarius Owl. Hello, everyone listening for my commute home. Oh, so you're driving, so it'll still be light where you are, Debbie, is it? Um, and saying that, I've noticed that the days are definitely longer now. I can notice it because when I get up in the morning, it's like twilight. Twilight's maybe the wrong term, but it's starting to get light outside, and I get up at like 6 in the morning. So I mean, I've had gotten used to it being pitch black outside. Um, Simon is saying hello to everyone coming in. People are just saying hello. Ian said, "Wonder what that slightly different tone was." Cold. I got it. Yeah. Marita says, "What's your heating like?" I mean, we've got pretty good heating. It's like central heating. Uh, and to be fair, when I'm downstairs, there is a big heater right beside me. Um, I kind of a grudge putting the heating on though, because when I turn on the heating, it heats up the whole house. And obviously, I'm only in one room of the house. I think we've got something like 7 or 8 heaters in this house, and I kind of feel silly putting them all on just because I'm cold down there, But I mean, oh, don't get me wrong, I had it on. I had it on twice today. Um, Sandy's got a thing about pipes freezing up. He's like, "Well, make sure you turn the heating on. The pipes will freeze up." Um, but yeah, still, even despite that, um, It was cold. Um, I've just the pop-up. I don't know if it's yeah, I think I'm just getting loads of pop-ups from the last week, to be honest. Yeah, do you know what? I'm not going to bother because I'm just going to keep getting that phone in my ear. I'll just leave them be. Thanks, Chris. Fingers crossed I don't stab myself too much. Yeah, yeah, don't do that. Um, I had a claim for a guy who um a bit so it was like thread from a bolt um that hurt his finger, but it got infected and stuff. Um, yeah, so yeah, don't like stab yourself with your wire. um, let's see. Marita says yes. I woke up at 7:30 and it was full light. Yeah, that's that exactly. Yeah, are you in the UK, Marita? I know you've told me that before, but apologies, my memory's like a sieve these days. Um, Joe says all good apart from this bloody freezing weather. Hurry up, spring. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think we're on the same page there. Um, yeah, Marita's saying hi to Simon. So how are we all doing anyway? How have you guys had a good week? Um, is anyone not freezing? Has anyone got nice warm weather at the moment? Um, don't know why I'm asking that. I'm only going to make myself jealous. But yeah, how are we all doing? What are we all drinking? Has anything exciting been happening with you all? Debbie says daylight savings this week. Daylight savings this week. Really? So my morning commute will be darker, and my chauffeur, aka retired husband, will probably have to drive me. Do the clocks change? Like I know my clocks don't change at the same time as yours, Debbie, but like it's only a couple of weeks apart, isn't it? Um, what am I looking for? When do the clocks change? Mhm. The United Kingdom, so they change on the 26th of March. Oh wow, yeah. So I mean, so right now we're on the 9th. Aye, so that's 2 weeks on Sunday. Yeah, it's on my calendar. British summertime begins. um, wow, I can't believe that. That's that's unbelievable that the clocks are changing already. Um, so yours change on Sunday then. So we've got 2 weeks of being only. So let's see. Yours will go back, and mine will stay the same. Is that what we just said? Yeah, for 2 weeks. Is that right? Do yours go back? Do the clocks go back? And I don't even know. Um. Anyway, not important. Rambling. But what I was trying to get at is for 2 weeks we're going to be either 4 hours or 6 hours apart. I think it's four. I think it's almost 4 or 5 hours, isn't it? So let's bring forward. Ah, yeah, but yous are behind us, so of course that brings us closer together. So yeah, move forward, and we'll be 4 hours apart for 2 weeks until the 26th, when ours will go forward, and then we'll be 5 hours apart again. That right? Um, 5 degrees. Well, that's not too bad. I keep my house heat on 68 and use an electric quartz heater in the room that I'm in for extra warmth. Wow. Um, and this economy as well. But no, I don't blame you. Uh, yeah, they change on Sunday. Uh, yeah, a couple of weeks, Simon. Hi, Kristen, by the way. Sorry for anyone who's came in since I said hi at the start. Hi, welcome. Lovely to see you, as always. Um, yeah, we're off from each other for a bit. Um, I mean, differently off than we usually are. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's always 4 hours, like when the in that in between time when one of us has changed but the other hasn't. It goes to 4 hours. I'm sure. I don't think it ever goes to 6 hours. Um, I saw Sandra there. I think. Yeah, there's Sandra. Hey, Sandra, how are you doing? Um, spring forward and fall back. Yeah, I know, but I, that doesn't help me because spring back and fall forward makes perfect sense to me as well. Do you know what I mean? So, like, as in, like, you could spring back from something and you could fall forwards. So I always end up trying to think, right, what way around is that again? Like, what way around does the saying go? Which, it's just another way for me to get mixed up. Um, but yeah, I know. Typically 5 hours. Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, and you guys are so right now you're on Eastern Standard Time, yeah. But on Sundays will change to EDT, Eastern Daylight Time, and then we'll change to in 2 weeks' time we'll change to British Summer Time, BST. Uh, my bill hasn't been bad with this system. About 60 for gas and 30 for electric. Oh, that's pretty decent, Marita. That's really good actually, considering. Have you got like, is it quite a big house you're in, or are you in like a smaller flat, or but I mean, even if you're in like a a studio, that's still good, you know. Um, Laurie's here as well. Hi, Laurie. How you doing? Um, I don't really have too much to chat about today. Because to be honest, I threw this together at the last minute because it's been a hectic week really. I've got my niece staying over for a couple of days, um, which is brilliant. I usually have her on a Friday. You'll hear me talking about my niece on like, having my niece on a Friday. Um, but her parents are away abroad just now, so I've had her for a couple of days. So yeah, I mean, she's been at nursery, so I've still been able to kind of work and stuff. Um, but yeah, we picked her up today, and we were driving home as the snow was coming on. And she's 4, so she's at that age where wait, yeah, she's 4, she'll be 5 in May. So she's at that age where she asks questions, like so many questions. And just when you think that you've answered her to an adequate level, like she wants to delve deeper, she wants to scratch beneath that. So at first she was like, why is the snow coming towards the car? Because we were obviously driving and the snow's coming in the opposite direction, so it looks as though the snow's coming right at us. I was like, oh, it's just the way that the wind's blowing it and the way that we're driving. Okay. Why is there snow? I was like, well, because it's really cold outside. But why? I was like, well, so I says when it gets really cold, the rain changes to snow. Why does the rain? Why does the cold change the rain to the snow? I was like, it just does. It just does. I was like, I don't know how else to explain it. Um, yeah, questions, but brilliant. Like it's it's great. I wouldn't change it. Well, maybe a few less questions. Um, but yeah, I've taken I've taken to lots of questions now get answered with Nanya, which my niece originally thought meant lasagna because it rhymes with lasagna. But Nanya means Nanya business, as in none of your business. Um, so yeah, quite often we get to the stage where Nanya is the answer to the questions. But yeah, it's a two-floor condo, says Marita. 3 rooms per floor. Oh, so pretty decent size then. That's a That's really good in terms of your heating bill then. Um, you'll have to watch Cat Williams talking about kids, but not with her listening. Right, okay. Do you have ice and do you know, Marita, that's funny because I try to explain it that way. I try to talk about ice cubes in the freezer, um, but that for some reason that just generated more questions. So yeah, yeah, Joe's granddad, the Nanya, yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, why did I start talking about that? Because I was saying it's been a busy week, and that's why I've only just scheduled this live at the last minute, and it's why I've not really had much a chance to put together a wee itinerary. But I was trying to remember how far I had got. Remember we were talking about the Total Tarot decks? Um, I had this one, which is the Tarot of White Cats, delivered very recently. I think it was this week there. So I thought we could look at this together. I've also got the Before Tarot and the Egyptian Tarot. Now, I'm not sure whether I got to them before, funnily enough. But we definitely haven't looked at this before because that's only just come. So this is the Tarot of White Cats. Let's change it to this. So has anyone got this deck already? What do we think about it? Like, do we like it? This is the first. It's definitely not a deck that I had. I don't tend to veer towards animal themed decks. So this is the first time that I'm seeing this. Mm, yeah. So we have our usual title cards. I think, yeah, these are the backs, which are reversible. So, I mean, if you like cats and you're into that kind of a thing, then I suppose they're all right. It's definitely not my aesthetic. Um, but obviously, this is for a kind of, this deck is for people that like cats. Um, Let me zoom in a bit. Um, okay, so it's looking like this is going to be very kind of a Smith Waite themed. Um, is that a dog? Is- Am I being really daft? Is that a dog that's in the place of the human and the white cat's tarot? Or is that just a funny looking cat? What do we think? Um, Borders are interesting, that's kind of a golden frame. Uh, yeah, it's a bit odd for a cat deck. Um, it's quite a cool high priestess cat. I start getting through these a bit quicker. Sandra says, yes, I have it from Total Tarot, the same as you, Chris. What do you think, Sandra? Have you had a look at it? Uh, Mine came with my Total Tarot delivery, but I haven't opened it up yet. I haven't seen that before. It's pretty, says Marita. My cat deck is the Tarot of Pagan Cats by Lo Scarabeo. Um, Simon says, I have the White Cat Mini that was gifted to me. Is that a mini of this deck, Simon, or is it a different White Cat Tarot? That's a really cool strength card. I do really like that. It's odd to see strength at 11 in a Smith-Waite team deck, isn't it? I know that we're getting that kind of a lagginess. Um, we'll see how we go on with it. Temperance. Do you know temperance is how we always talk about one card that we really like or we look for in a deck? Do you know temperance for me is almost the opposite. It's very rare for me that I find a temperance card that actually does anything for me. It's not that I particularly don't like it. I just find it a very probably in the nature of temperance, isn't it? But it just seems like a very blah card a lot of the time. Although, I have to say, I do like, there's one deck that does it really well, the Urban Tarot. I like that. Um, it's the one where it's the kind of it's the Smithwaite Temperance, but it's painted on the wall, and I think it's like dripping down. Uh, Marita, yeah, a dog in the fool card. Um, they'd never call a cat a fool. That's true. Oh, look at that weird cat face in the sun. Yeah, judgment and the world. Okay, so the lag's getting really bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to want to deactivate face cam from here. I am then going to change, let's see, camera. We're going to change this to this. So that looks pretty normal. There's no lag or anything. And I'm going to restart OBS. Make sure you want to exit, yes. And we'll see how we go with that. So what I'll do is I'll start the virtual camera on that. Sorry, don't mind me while I just talk to myself. See, and I'm going to mute that because that's not helpful having two talking, and then I'm going to mute. Hopefully, we're not starting me speaking twice. I don't know we are. Do you know what? We'll 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 persevere for now. um, I'll just show you them on here for now, and we'll see how we go on. Can you all still hear me and stuff? Like with all that messing about, I've not lost audio or anything, have I? It doesn't look like I have from down here, but just let me know if that you can still hear me. I'll give OBS a 5 minute timeout, and then we'll come back to it maybe. So next month is a dragon deck, says Sandra. Oh, is it indeed? I didn't know this because I've not looked at my magazine yet, but that's cool. I like dragon decks. Uh, yeah, sound is all good, right? That's fine. The only thing is you'll need to put up with the video being on this camera. Um, showing the cards on this, and it's not the best. It doesn't focus in, neither it does. I need to get a webcam that's good for that, so as that when this does happen, uh, we don't miss a beat. I quite like it, but then I like cats and animal decks. So Ace of Cups. So you can see it's got that kind of a Smith weight theme to it. Three, the board one and the four. Yeah, Simon says it's this one. It's the mini of this one. That right, cool. Do you like it, Simon? Is it one that you kind of you like to use, or I don't know what it is. I'm just not an animal theme. I don't mind if it's like different animals. So I've got like the Orion's animal tarot, and I do quite like that. The Wild Unknown, love it. Uh, like general animal themed decks like that are I think are quite cool. But when it's like, what's the word? Is it anthropomorphized? Is that the correct word that I'm trying to think of? When they've got like animals doing like acting like humans. Uh, I don't know. It's just never really appealed to me all that much. 78 animal. Oh, sorry, 78 animal temperance is a white peacock. It's beautiful. All right, okay. So sound was good. I was going to wind Chris up then and say, can anyone else hear Chris? Then I thought that would be too cruel. See, the boy that cried wolf, Simon. Now, anytime you say something, I'm not going to believe it. I'm just going to think you're bamming me up. Uh, just looked, and it's a UK only subscription, says Marita. Will you not be getting Baba Studios Bohemian Cats? No, I don't think so. I mean, never say never, at least until I've seen it, but I doubt that it would be my kind of thing. Right, let's change this back over. So, see, it's still quite laggy. Right, we'll see how we get on. Ace of Pentacles. I feel as though I'm saying that a lot these days in lives. We'll see how we get on. For this deck is pretty similar to the Bohemian Cats. I'm going to try and speed through this, at least whilst it seems to be working. Touch wood. Um, King. That's quite a cool ace, actually. See, I feel as though I like the ones where it doesn't feel like they're trying to be humans, like they're not dressed in human clothes and stuff like that. Um, yeah, I was wondering that as well. It's quite unusual for them to do that in a like a Smith Waite themed deck, isn't it? What's everyone's thoughts on that, by the way? So, like, you'll know what we're talking about, but just to like over explain, um, we're talking about the fact that um, generally in like your kind of a older decks, like your Tarot de Marseille, your Visconti decks, like if I think it was Waite that first done it, wasn't it? It was Arthur Edward Waite that first switched the two around. So in older decks or pre-Waite decks, pre-Smith Waite decks, um, Justice would have been uh, the eighth major arcanum, and Strength would have been the 11th. I had to think, make sure I was getting that the right way around there. Um, but Arthur Edward Way, I believe it was his decision. He switched them and made Strength the eighth one and Justice the 11th. Um, and I don't know if that was purely to so with strength at 8 and with justice at 11, the corresponding zodiac falls in order. Okay, so you go from the Emperor is Aries, Taurus is the Hierophant, etc., etc., all the way up to I think Pisces is the Moon. So they go in order as long as strength is at 8, which is Leo, and justice is at 11, Libra. Um, but like it's interesting because Simon, I think do you you I would imagine that I'm just this is supposition here, but I imagine that you prefer strength being at 8 and justice being at 11 because I know you're a Smith Waite guy, but then you don't use the astrology associations, do you? Or like talk to me about it. I'm interested in what people think. Like, what do you prefer? Do you even care? Do you have a preference? If you do, why? Like, what is it that um, what is your preference and why do you like it to be that way? I'm not really down with anthropomorphic decks, says Deanne. Marita says, "Oh, I wanted to let you know I was able to recommend your Odin's Playbook deck to someone who was looking for a normal Norse deck, so thank you." Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm sure Danielle, the creator, will be delighted. But no, that's good, and I hope the person was able to get it. Sandra prefers having strength at 8. Okay, cool. So is there a particular reason that you prefer it that way, Sandra? Or is it more just because you're used to that, or yeah, all to do with fitting better with astrology, says Simon. Justin's here. Hey, Chris, watching from the gym. Oh, good for you. Good for you. I hope that hope you're not working too hard. Uh, but yeah, I hope you're enjoying the gym. Uh, it's nice to see everyone. Justin's saying hi to everybody. Isn't there something about what falls in each of 3 sets of 7 cards? The the 3 itineraries. Isn't there something about what falls in each of them? I think the 3 groups of 7. I'm not sure if it was Rachel Pollock that like devised that, but I'm pretty sure she certainly talks about it a lot. Um, and I think she covers it in 78 Degrees of Wisdom, and she talks a lot about strength and justice in 78 Degrees of Wisdom, and like basically she can make them both work, regardless of what one is where. So I think the in terms of the 3 itineraries, I think they can both work in each position. Simon says, I only prefer it because it's what I'm used to. That said, I don't really mind, and quite a few decks now don't even number them. That's true. And then you've got certain decks, because I know like, a lot of the decks that Justin's talked about, like they do it different again, don't they? So like see the Mythic Tarot and the Caselli Charmin Caselli Tarot. They do it different again. They like group. I can't remember exactly how they do it, but they group the virtues together, don't they? Like they do it in a funny order that we're not used to. Marita says it does make more sense astrologically to have strength at 8. It's also a better numerological association. No, that's interesting you say that because I actually like justice at 8 for the numerological association. Because for me, 8 is about well, it's about momentum created from a stable place. Do you know what I mean? It's for me, the number 8 is um it's I mean, you've worked on this thing all the way from the ace, you've built it up and you've built it up and you've built an absolute solid foundation. So you've got the 8 being the double 4 thing, where it's like, really a really stable structure. But you've also got like the momentum that that stable structure creates, the potential that it creates. And that's when we see, like, for example, like the Eight of Wands or the Eight of Cups, we tend to see cards like this as being about movement, movement, fast movement maybe. Um, so yeah, for me, the eight is it's a this dichotomy between the strong, stable base and kicking off from that, and for me, that's more justice than it is strength, because justice is like it's the natural and man-made laws within which we all live. It's the rules, it's the axioms, it's all of that stuff that we live within. So things like the strong and weak forces, gravity, all of that kind of a thing. Um, they all give us structure to live by, and from that structure we can go to we can use that structure to go to different places. We can use that structure to thrive. Um, I hope I'm explaining that well. To me, that's how I link justice in with the eight. And I know that lots of people might see the eight as being like mastery, perfection, that kind of a thing. In which case, like that really fits in with strength. But I suppose that's just personal to me. Um, I don't care a ton, says Deanne, and I'd read the numerology as is for whichever deck I'm using. Yeah, fair enough. Sandra says, it just feels weird to me to have it at 11. Much more used to having it at 8. That's strength you're talking about, yeah? Just after you put Nancy's comment up, it went blurry. Oh, oh, I hope it's gone back to normal now. Um, I don't see anything blurry on my screen, which is funny. I like strength at both 11 and 8. They are almost a pair to me now. Strength and justice, yeah. Um, Joan's popped in. Hi, Joan. How you doing? It's lovely to see you. Order A. Yeah, gonna get all theoretical on me now. So the mythic tarot that goes off order A. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, when it groups the virtues together. Because I know it does something funny with the Hierophant and the High Priestess and the Empress and the Emperor. They're like, try to remember how it does it. Fact, hang on, the Mythic Tarot book is kicking about here somewhere. So let's look at it then, right, and we'll see. Ah, right, here we go. So the contents page will give it to us. So we've got the Fool, the Magician, which is fair enough. It then jumps to the Empress, then the Emperor, then the High Priestess, then the Hierophant. So it kind of a like the earthly queen, the earthly king, the spiritual queen, the spiritual king, if you want to kind of a look at it in those terms. We then have the lovers, the chariot. Then so we've got justice, temperance, and strength. So it's kind of a like, it's grouping all of those three together, and it's kind of a putting them all in that kind of a space between the chariot and the hermit. Uh, and then obviously the hermit, the wheel of fortune, the hanged man, death, the devil. See, that's the thing. Like with all of them up there, it groups together all of these really kind of a darker cards. Like you've got death, well, like the hanged man, death, the devil, the tower. Do you know what I mean? It's like bam, 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 one card after the other, one shitstorm after the other, isn't it? And then the star, the moon, the sun, judgment, and the world. So yeah, it's a different order. I don't dislike it. Uh, I like to pull on the order of my majors to help me with my numerology a wee bit. I don't think, although it might be an interesting exercise to look at what that does to the cards in that deck if I was to, take whatever the first 10 were, um, and do it that way. Anyway, I digress, don't I? Rachel Ray. Hi everyone, sorry I'm late. Please don't apologise. You're more than welcome. It's lovely to see you. I hope you're doing okay. Justin says all the virtues are grouped together. There were various orders. That's why I'm completely comfortable ordering the cards how I please. um, Marita says I've read 8 as being an in charge sort of number, and doing to do with wealth and power. Yeah, I suppose strength would really kind of a match with that in charge because you're kind of a taking charge, aren't you? Um, the scales themselves suggest the balance of 8. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Uh, Simon, I'm pretty much the same now. I love numberless myself, depends on the mood. Uh, just versus corrupt. That works for the 8, I think, says Deanne. Simon says, pleases everyone, and if unnumbered, people will automatically associate whatever number they prefer anyway. Yeah, no, I suppose that's true. Yeah, lots of people for unnumbered here. Minchiati are ordered like that too. Right, okay. Uh, this reminds me of when I first learned tarot. I could never work out why the High Priestess and the High Priest weren't together like the Empress and the Emperor. Right, okay. Many people believe that uh, the virtues were added to the orders later. They don't seem to fit with the others. Diane loves a Minchiati order. Oh, um, yeah, well, I can't remember how I came on to talking about the orders. Oh, I think it's because in that cat tarot, the tarot of white cats, the strength and justice were the opposite way around than what we would have thought, considering it was a Smith weight. That was how we got started on it. There was another deck that I fancied sharing with you. And Deanne, we were talking about this deck through the week. I have actually done a video on this, so I mean, this maybe will be one that you've seen before, but it's called the Inner Dimensions Tarot. And the creator, I'm sure their name is Ash. I think it's spelled Ashe. So I'm not sure if it would be pronounced Ash or Asha. I think it's Ash. Um, if I'm remembering my facts right, and I think I would have talked about this in my walkthrough video that I did. But if I've remembered my facts right, I think the creator is non-binary, and I'm sure their pronouns are they and he, if I remember correctly. Um, just that, I mean, that's just by the by. But the deck, it's linen cardstock. It's from Make Playing Cards. It's linen cardstock, and if I just kind of show you some of the cards, you'll see like the colours in this deck are kind of a black, white, and this kind of a golden yellow colour that dominate the deck. It's borderless. Um, and one thing that I really like about it is the way the minors are illustrated is really, I don't know, it's just different in a really good way. Um, so like 6 of water. So that's how they're labeled. Like you've got the symbol for the element, and then the Roman numeral for the number inside it. There you go. You've got the 3 of fire. So it doesn't like have or for the main part, it doesn't have the kind of a typical Smith Way images. Um, but you can certainly still, I mean, like your 9 of air there. but there's definitely something like dark and shadowy and, almost to a point where you can't quite see what's happening, something scary about the card. So you still get that feel from it, but it's not that person waking up in the night. Um, Another thing is there's no faces in this deck. It's all this kind of the way that the Empress's face is here. Kind of puts me in mind of the way that the some of the cards in the Mariel Tarot, they don't have the faces, like the High Priestess and the Magician. Um, but yeah, it's just a really stunning deck. You can really see if I hold it to the light like that, you can see the linen. Uh, yeah, backs are reversible, and I think they're reversible. I would need to really, maybe you can tell in the moon. I would need to really think about it. So kind of reversible, shall we say? Um, the quartz. So let me see. Instead of aces, we've got sources. So this is like the source of fire rather than the ace of like wands. Obviously, there's elements rather than like, so you've got like fire as opposed to wands and stuff. It's trying to be edged in black. I know I've not edged it. See, I think black. I think a nice gold would be nice as well, or even this kind of a yellow color. Um, the quartz though, I'm trying to find an example of each of the quartzes I can show you. Look at that for the four of air. So it's like a bird's nest, so it definitely has that air association with it being birds. I think that's a bird's nest anyway. Doubting myself now. But and look at this for the ten of air, the tornado and the lightning. Like really cool depiction of the ten of swords or the ten of air. I think. Um, let's see. Look, five of fire. So got this kind of a forest fire idea. So I think when you look at the source 2, 3, 4, you get the idea of the firepower being built up. Here you kind of lose control of it. So the fire gets out of control. The forest catches fire. Um, so you get that idea of the chaos, the instability of the five there. Uh, Come on, court cards. What am I looking for? I still need our. There we go, practitioner. So instead of pages, we have students. So this is our student of fire. Instead of knights, we have practitioners. Here with the practitioner of water. Instead of queens, we have visionaries. So this is our visionary of fire. And then instead of kings, we have masters. And this is our master of earth. So what do you think? Do you like this? Does this appeal to anyone? I'd imagine this is quite a Marmite deck. Like people would probably love it or hate it. Like I know the no faces thing and the tri-color thing probably doesn't work for lots of people. For me, I love it. Really nice sun card as well. I've never actually kind of I don't know. I feel as though I'm seeing that card for the first time. Fortune. Um, it is indie. It's on Make Playing Cards, uh, Sandra, but it's independently made by the creator. I'm just going back to see if I've missed any comments. Du- 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 du. Right. So Deanne's comment about the Minchiati, because the cards were switched. Yeah. The Magician and the High Priestess are both more magical to me, says Marita. Oh, right, okay. So this is where I started talking about the deck because Deanne's saying it's sitting in her cart. Um, the Hierophant is the dogmatic church, says Marita. Simon says, "Oh no, here we go. Time to be tempted just by seeing the first card." Um, True about non-binary, not sure about pronouns, says Deanne. Um, Initially, when I got this deck, I looked it up and they have created a guidebook online. Um, and I remember being able to access it at the time when I got this, but then when I tried to look at it the other day, I struggled to get into it for some reason. So I'll need to have another go at that actually. But I'm sure it was in the book the creator had written about themselves. Um, Minchiati sounds like something you might order in a coffee shop to me always, says Sandra. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I'll have a grande Minchiati with extra whipped cream, please. um, let's see. Tony, evening. I have a tarot of cat people, not my cuppa, but some fun takes. For example, the Fool and Death. Um, Cruise Museum running away. Milky with chocolate. Yeah, crying to be is right. Okay. Linen finish said Gerald's. Gerald, have you just popped in? Or have you been hiding from me? But hi anyway. I hope you're doing okay. Oh no, I can see everyone saying hi to you. Hope you're doing okay. Lovely to see you. That chariot though, says Simon. I didn't even notice the chariot, and I'm going to have to go back and look. Have you done a full walkthrough? Yeah, there's a full walkthrough on my channel, Simon. So if someone, Deanne, you found it recently, didn't you? Because oh God, the dog just burst in and gave me the fright of my life. You're soaking wet, you know. I think she's ran away from her dad. I think she's meant to be up here. Ugh. You want to pop up and say hi to everyone? You coming? Coming up? You coming up? No. There we go. She's not meant to be up here, is she? No, I didn't think so. Right, what's the heater? Um, Sorry. Yeah, what was I saying? I was saying about the walkthrough for this. So Deanne, if you've got it handy, if you could put a wee link to it in the chat. Oh, I can see you've done that. Thank you very much. And you've put a link to the make playing cards as well. You're a wee star. Um, I don't love that texture for me. It distracts from the picture. Uh, don't come for me. No, everyone's got like their own preferences and stuff, so no, that doesn't bother me. Um, what's that? The two of earth, the seeds sprouting and the leaves. Um, Kristen says it's not my cuppa. I'm in love, as you know. Yeah, Deanne. Me and Deanne were kind of talking about this deck through the week. Look at that tower card, by the way. Is that not just a stunning tower card? Sorry, the lag's back, but I would rather you were able to see it. on the table rather than me holding it up all blurry. Um, really like the full card, says Kristen. So this is called the Inner Dimensions Tarot, Gerald. Uh, I actually thought it was really reasonably priced as well, if I remember rightly, on Make Playing Cards. Yeah, Deanna at the ready. Make playing cards is so confusing, says Tony. Keeps me at arm's bay and my pocket's safe. Um, but when you have the link, there's no trouble at all, says Deanne. Justin's still lurking. Yeah, little Luna. She's a little troublemaker, but we love her. Oh, right, okay, it's quite pricey for an NPC deck, says Simon. Okay, maybe I'm thinking of something else then. Love that 9 of Earth. I even commented on your walkthrough, says Simon. Unrelated, Max just said, "How can you censor me? Send help." Um, how can you censor me? Were you trying to censor him, Deanne? Were you trying to quiet his voice? I even said I loved it. At least I'm consistent. uh, let's see. £40, give or take a few pennies. All right, okay. I've added it to my cart, says Gerald. Right, this is where we find out how many people I've influenced. Um, oh, okay, sense. Uh, but he meant like sense that he was running. Right, okay. Waiting for Tarot Arthurian. Nothing else excites me right now. When is that out, Justin? Do you know? Like, have we heard anything new about it? Right, so you told him to stop running, right? I've got you. Ooh, look at Judgment. Judgment is like looking in the mirror at yourself and seeing yourself, or well, it's what do you see staring back, and then the tower. Remember, the tower was that. It looks like that same mirror that's been smashed. Ooh, practitioner of earth. With the hands in the grass. Um, the 10 of fire. Looks like lava overspilling. Um, hashtag purchase responsibly. Hashtag know your limits. Hashtag do it. Um, when is that due to be out, Justin? Yeah, I am. I'm curious. By next New Year, so that's still quite a while to wait, isn't it? Uh, Earth Magic. I got a message to say the literary tarot is in the UK and shipping in the next few weeks finally. The literary tarot. Fair enough. Um, does anyone want a reading? I'll use this. See how we get on with it. It's such a nice deck to shuffle because it has that linen cardstock. Like it's really strong, but it's very bendy as well. It almost feels like it's plastic. So our Instagram said by next New Year's. That is quite a while to wait, isn't it? But it'll be worth the wait, no doubt. I'm currently looking through my favourites on NPC to see if there's anything else to add and save on shipping, says Gerald. Definitely, that's what I normally do. When it comes to NPC, I normally kind of build up until I've got a few decks that I want, and I buy a couple at once. Um, yeah, and that way you save a wee bit on the shipping, don't you? It looks like Gerald's pressed that buy button. Hashtag Chris made me do it. Right, any questions for the cards? Pop them in the chat. We can keep chatting and stuff. But yeah, if you want a reading, if you want to see this deck in action, if you want a reading, if you've got a question, then stick it in the chat. And we'll see how we get on. So you're talking about the literary tarot. Um, right, okay, so it looks like it's lost interest for a few people because of how it was run. That's a shame. I've got a couple of questions here. Start them. So Marita, thank you very much for your question. You've said, I'd like to see how it reads. A general message for me, please. Okay, let's go for a general message for Marita then, please. But the ooh, I need to zoom out a wee bit actually, sorry. Oh, so that didn't really work. There we go. Got the Emperor, the Eight of Fire, and oh, the Ten of Air. Feels like there's lots of chaos around about you right now. Okay, we've got this imagery of, well, look at what we've got in these two cards. We've got a volcano exploding, and we've got a tornado, and a tornado slash lightning storm. And then it feels like this is you at one side of it, just trying to. I mean, the Emperor, it's all about bringing order out of chaos. Um, so I kind of feel as though you're shoveling up snow during a snowstorm just now, Marita. Um, it it's taking up a lot of energy, but it's energy that you seem to have. You seem to be actually doing really well at it. Um, I, this seem that what I want to say here is, if at times you're getting sick of everything that you feel you're having to do, like, keep at it. It's not going to last forever because as much as the 10 does look chaotic, the 10 is all about um, coming to the end of a cycle and a new beginning. Okay, so there is an end coming to it, and it feels like it's coming to a big, um, a big, exciting conclusion. A big climax rather than an anticlimax, for lack of a better term. So it's like it's going out with a bang, but it is, there is an end point in sight. Um, and you're the emperor. It's not like you're like someone who's kind of a struggling to keep control, who's barely managing. You're the emperor. You're standing there. You're with confidence, and you are able to bring control. you're able to bring order from the chaos, and it almost feels like you're able to thrive in this kind of a situation. So give yourself a pat on the back. If at times you feel like it's all getting a bit much, just remember how far you've come. Um, and remember, I was talking about the eights being not just about the high energy, but also the strong and stable foundation that we've created for ourselves. And that is almost what gives way, what allows the progression, the high energy of the eight to take place. Um, so yeah, it's going out with a bang. But there is change to come, and you're doing really well. So don't doubt yourself, is what I would say. Uh, so yeah, I hope that was okay. Thank you very much for your question. I can see you said that's great news. Thank you. I do like these cards. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad you like them. Uh, oh, hey Jen, how you doing? It's lovely to see you. Inspiration Psychology with Jen. Is our very lovely Jen, or Hen, as you might see some people call her. Um, how's things, Jen? What are you up to? Okay, Regina, thank you very much for your question. It says I could go for a what do I need to be aware of right now reading. I think you need to make a coffee, Regina, or if you've already got one, have a sip of your coffee. The lag is getting really annoying. Um, right, bear with me. We're just going to switch over again, and I'll hold the cards up. Okay, so what does Regina need to be aware of right now? Okay, so you've got two of air, and this is depicted as these two feathers kind of a floating in the water. Really in balance, and see how they're kind of a floating the opposite way from each other. You've got the nine of water. Yep, the nine of water, which is like the nine of cups. And you've got the strength card. Okay, so I need to see them on the table in front of myself for a bit before so as I can kind of, I don't know, just read them properly. So that nine of water card is bugging me because what is going on in that card? Do we think these are like waves? Are these like waves here? And this is like a wee island in the middle. What do you guys see there? It looks more like a desert, to be honest with you, to me. Just, I suppose, just because it has that kind of a yellowish color to it is maybe why I'm seeing it that way. Um, but yeah, I'm kind of a struggling to see that as anything but you know a desert. Um, okay, what do you need to be aware of right now? I mean, just based on then the imagery, and even like we've got the two of air, which is the two feathers floating in the water. We then have the nine of water, which arguably there's a distinct lack of water in it, depending on how you see these things. And then we have the strength card, which has these kind of a droplets. Water feels like the theme of your reading for me. Um, so that's all to do with your kind of your emotional self. So, um, are you making sure you're looking after yourself, emotionally? Um, a lot of the times it's easy to kind of make sure that our physical needs are attended to and our kind of the mental kind of a side of things is okay. We're looking at things logically and we're doing what's what we're taking the logical steps needed in each situation, but um it's important to kind of take some time to care for ourselves and to pick up on how we're feeling about things, pick up on um and emotions, because sometimes we can, everything can be, we can have all the food and the shelter and all of the physical needs can be met. Everything can make sense on paper, and yet sometimes there's something missing. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes we feel off despite all of that. Um, so yeah, I guess just that I want you to make sure you're looking after yourself, Regina, is what I would say. Um, y- as much as like I'm talking about, so sometimes our emotional well-being doesn't match up with it, doesn't seem to match up with our physical environment or indeed our mental environment. Sometimes we can feel upset and not really know why. There isn't any rhyme or reason to it, but that's okay. That's how our emotional selves work. It's not a logical thing. It's not a kind of a thing where everything fits in perfectly. It's not always obvious um, why we feel a certain way about something. Um, and I suppose it's just that it's an ongoing kind of a just building up that self-awareness, I guess, which is what, the strength card is coming through with. It's kind of when we talk about the Wheel of Fortune, we kind of start off our lives trying to kind of clamber our way to the top and not be at the bottom of that wheel. We want to have good luck, we want to have good fortune, and, we want fortune to be smiling on us. Um, but as time goes on, we begin to realize actually, life isn't so much about being at the top of the wheel, because as much as that is nice, no one can be at the top of the wheel all the time. We all have our good days and our bad days. The secret to it is getting to the middle. It's getting to the middle where we don't feel the effects of the turn quite so much, you know. Um, so I suppose it's getting to that kind of bringing it back to what we're talking about here. It's getting to know yourself, and getting, I suppose, just a wee bit of self understanding. Um, so maybe I don't know why I feel a bit sad on a Sunday. You know, I don't quite understand why I get the Sunday blues. But knowing, if I know I tend to get the Sunday blues, then I can take action. I can kind of preempt it. I can think, right, okay, well, I'm going to plan something really nice for Sunday because I know I tend to get a wee bit, or maybe it's not, every Sunday. Maybe it's like one particular Sunday in the month, or maybe it's a particular time of the year. I know that I tend to get a wee bit down at that time, so I'm going to, I'm going to make a plan. I'm going to make a point in doing something nice to pick myself up. That feels like, the strength card is like taking control, embracing the water droplets. Um, yeah, that was a lot of heavy stuff to throw at you at once, but that was kind of what I saw in those cards, Regina. Um, so yeah, let me switch. back to yes. Let me see them. It's still lagging, but you can at least see them on the table. Um, so yeah, I hope that that was all right. Dessert with a desert in it. Um, Regina says, "Thank you, Chris. It's a lot to think about." Okay. And finally, I've got Tony, unless there's any more questions that I've not quite seen yet. Oh gosh, there's quite a lot of chat. Right, I'll do Tony's question and then I'll catch up on the chat. So Tony says, what will this deck bring us if we choose to purchase it? Oh, there's the chariot card. So it feels like it's quite intense to start off with. You know, you've got this really kind of a high horsepower, this high energy of the chariot card, the high mental energy of the nine of air. You know, we're not sure how you know, things haven't quite taken shape yet. So um, I feel like it needs a bit of work to get used to it and to form that bond and that relationship with it. But if we can do that, then we've got the Empress coming out at the end. So this feels like a kind of a mutual relationship of, you know, building each other up, of bonding, nurturing, you know, and each, it's almost like it will make us a better reader, if we can take the time to get used to it and work with it. The chariot is always a really good omen, you know, for any kind of a questions like this. You know, the chariot is like you know, really taking control and it's almost like a victory card if you want to put it that way. It's like taking control of the different aspects of your life. Um, and you know, almost like having everything pointed in the one direction and going the same way, having everyone singing from the same hymn sheet, if you will. Um, you know, nine of air really kind of a lot of the times a really tough energy to deal with, but sometimes if we can kind of just channel it just right, it can actually be really powerful. And our beautiful Empress card coming out at the end there, that you know, real kind of a creative, nurturing card. Um, so yeah, as a like the what I said at the start is how I would summarize it. It feels like a lot to begin with, a lot of high energy. Like it needs work to get used to it, but if we can, then I think it would be a real powerful tool in our arsenal, is what it's saying. Okay, let me do this. See how we're doing. We seem to be doing all right. Um, so thanks very much for those questions. I'll go through the chat, and if there's any more questions, I'll hopefully catch them. Um, Regina's saying hello to everyone that I've missed coming in. It's hard to greet everyone when the hands are full of wire. Yeah, yeah, I get that. Um, deactivate you there. And the alley man has an oracle out, says Tony. This is where Jen popped in. And then that was okay. So that was Marita commenting on the reading. The Maraloon might also be purchased, said Gerald. Coffee at the ready, good stuff. Jen says, going great, thanks. Relocated my practice to home and I'm loving it. Me, Sandy, and Luna are doing great, thanks, Jen. We're all doing really well. It's really, really cold here just now. It's been snowing outside, I was saying at the start, but otherwise doing great, thanks. Um, see, hi, Chris, and everyone in the chat. Says Beth, just been a quiet mouse today. That's lovely to see you, Beth. How you doing? Wine would be really, really nice right now, said Regina. Yep, agreed. So Kristen says it looks like a desert, like an oasis in the desert. Um, a desert with an oasis. To me, says Beth. I see a snaking S shape. Oh, excuse me, showing the process of cleaning top to bottom, like a blackboard being rubbed out, or a chalkboard if you prefer. Uh, let's see. Oh, look who it is. It's Mr. Richard Ritchie himself, Longman Tarot. How you doing, sir? Like I drag you out of your head deck. Yeah. Um, look at those monsters in the nine. Yeah, I know it's quite a cool card, isn't it? Right. We're at 20 past 10. Shall I pull a card for the weekend for everyone? And we can call it an evening since I've caught up and since my coffee's almost finished. So let's pull a card to send everyone into the weekend. Hopefully something nice to inspire us all. Ooh, get the Master of Fire. Master of Fire. So this is kind of like the King of Wands. And we see the lava falling from the fire symbol, which is like the source. And then the master is like catching the lava in their hands. So they've mastered fire to such a degree that they can hold molten hot lava in the palm of their hands. So I suppose what this makes me think of is, you know, what projects, what things have you got on? What have you been working on? What have you been working on getting better at? There is real potential this weekend to really further your study or your practice or whatever it is that's your thing right now, whatever it is that's taking up um, all of your energy and you know all of your mojo, whatever it is that you're putting everything into this weekend is there's real potential. There's real kind of a fertile ground there for us to master it, or at least um, make good progress in it. Um, the Master of Fire is charismatic. Um, they draw everyone in. Uh, they kind of inspire everyone to be really good at what it is. They're the kind of a person like when you see them in their element, when you see them doing whatever it is that they are doing, um, they make you really want to do it as well, even though you've never even thought about doing that before, you know. So I'm trying to think of an example now. So, did you ever have those really good teachers at school who they were so kind of they gripped your attention and they were so inspiring that it made you want to be a teacher yourself? Even though taking it out of that context, you know, you'd never in a million years want to be a teacher, but that person just inspired you so much. They made it look like so easy and so enjoyable that they just made you want to be a teacher. That's kind of like the master of fire, that power that they have over people. Um, so that's the kind of a mastery that we're talking about here. It's to that degree, where it's not just kind of inspiring yourself, but you're inspiring others around about you. So this is the energy we've got around about us this weekend. So let's make the most of it. Um, Thank you, Chris. So everyone now knows why they need to buy it. Yeah, definitely. Do you have the four of grading tons of exam papers? That's my weekend, says Richie. Um, well, have fun, Richie. I hope it goes well. Have a passionate evening, says Marita. And sounds like the Four of Cups to me, says Beth. Reading, I know it doesn't sound too fun, does it? But I imagine once it's what you're doing, it means a lot to a lot of people. And I'd imagine once you finish it, you know, you've got a big sense of achievement. So keep going at it, keep at it, Richie. You're doing great. Um, Beth says that's perfect. I'm going to hear my daughter sing in a performance this weekend. Seeing all my kids. Brilliant. Well, you enjoy, Beth. And everyone else, I hope you all have an amazing weekend. Thanks very much for popping in and chatting with me. Thanks to those that asked questions for the cards. And yeah, take care, everyone. Have a great weekend, and I shall see you all later. Bye bye.